Ever been stuck in like a frustrating situation? One of those things drags on and on and on, and you just feel powerless to speed things up.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, imagine that feeling, but it's a legal battle,
Yeah.
and it's not just weeks or months we're talking about, but like a decade plus stuck in a property dispute.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's a nightmare scenario, right? And that's what we're diving into today.
Sounds heavy.
Yeah, it is, but it's also like super relevant to a lot of people. So we're taking a look at this audio flyer
Okay.
for this legal expert advocate, Aniruddha Nikhil, and he claims he's got a solution for resolving these property disputes way faster than the traditional system.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we're going to break down the whole problem, explore his approach, and then kind of see if this could actually be a way to get justice without the ridiculous.
Wait. Okay, so like setting the scene then.
Exactly.
Property disputes, unfortunately, they're like pretty common
Yeah, you hear about them all the time.
all the time in
Yeah.
the traditional legal system. Well, it's not exactly known for its speed, is it?
Right, definitely not.
It's like a lot of procedures, so much back and forth, and it can easily take years, even decades sometimes.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
And I actually thought it was really clever how Advocate Nikhil in his flyer, to really drive that point home,
Uh-huh.
he uses that sound effect of a ticking clock.
Oh, right.
And then it's followed by this like frustrated sigh.
Clever.
It is clever because it just makes you feel that frustration,
Viscerally. Yeah.
viscerally. Yeah, you're just like waiting and waiting and waiting, and years are just slipping by.
And it's not just the time either. It's like you said, it's the emotional toll, the financial toll it takes on.
Hmm.
Legal fees pile up, the stress starts impacting your relationships, work life. Everything just feels like it's on hold.
Completely. Yeah, it's a huge burden. So, okay, so how does this advocate, Nikhil, how does he say he can fix this?
Well, his big thing is that he specializes in property matters, right? And he really emphasizes fast resolutions. And he handles all kinds of property issues, everything from ownership disputes. So, you think those classic conflicts over like who actually owns a piece of land or a building.
Right.
He also deals with conflicts under the Real Estate Regulatory Authority, RERA.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, that's the body that kind of governs real estate in India.
Right, right.
He also works on issues within housing societies, like disputes between residents or with the management committee.
Oh, yeah, those can get messy.
Absolutely. And inheritance battles are another big area for him.
Okay, so like if I bought an apartment and then found out there's this whole dispute over who actually owns the land it's built on.
Exactly. That's a perfect example. Or let's say you live in a housing society and the committee is just constantly embroiled in some legal battle and it's
Mhm.
impacting, maintenance fees or just the general living experience there.
Right, right.
Those are the kinds of situations where Advocate Nikhil is saying he can step in and help.
Okay, so then how does he actually do it? What are his methods for getting these fast resolutions?
So the flyer mentions three main things: strategic legal planning, fast track litigation processes, and then also out-of-court settlements.
Okay.
And strategic legal planning that could involve, like really leveraging specific legal provisions that are designed to kind of speed up a case.
Okay.
Or it might be about being super proactive and gathering really strong evidence right from the beginning so you have a really solid case.
Right.
So it's about being efficient and strategic from the get-go.
Okay, so that's like the legal strategy side of things.
Yeah, and then there's the fast-track litigation. So that basically means using specific legal procedures that are designed to expedite the court process.
Okay.
Some courts have these special mechanisms for cases that need to be resolved urgently.
Interesting.
And then finally, there are the out-of-court settlements.
Right, because sometimes it's better to avoid going to court altogether if you can.
Absolutely. Like if the parties involved are willing to negotiate and compromise, they can often reach an agreement much faster and with a lot less hassle.
So he kind of does it all, then he looks at all the options.
Yeah, it seems like he tries to find the most efficient path to a resolution, whether that's through, strategic maneuvering within the court system or by helping the parties come to an agreement outside of court.
Okay. And he actually makes some pretty bold claims in this flyer.
Such as?
He says he's resolved some cases in as little as 2 meetings.
2 meetings? Wow.
Yeah, and others, he claims he's been able to reduce the time from like 5 years down to 1 to 1.5 years.
That's a huge difference.
It is huge, and that's where it gets really interesting for me because I'm like, is this too good to be true?
It's a valid question. You always have to be a little bit cautious, right, when something sounds almost too good to be true.
Of course.
And while those results sound fantastic, we'd really need more information to, properly assess, how valid they are and whether that would apply in all sorts of different cases.
Right. Like, how complex were these cases? Were they simple disputes or something more complicated?
Exactly. Like, could you imagine a really complex case involving, let's say, multiple parties in a dispute over land ownership? Could that realistically be resolved in just 2 meetings?
Yeah. Oh.
It's possible, but it would depend on a lot of factors, right? Like, were the parties willing to compromise? Was the evidence clear cut?
Right, right.
I think it's great that he's highlighting these successful cases, but we really need more context to understand, how representative they are.
For sure.
It would be interesting to see some details about his past cases, maybe some client testimonials or something like that.
Yeah, that would be really helpful to get a better sense of, his track record and how he operates and what kind of results he achieves on average.
Exactly.
And just to be super clear to everyone listening,
Yeah.
we are not endorsing Advocate Nikhil or his services. We're simply exploring, what he's presenting in this flyer and kind of using it as a jumping off point for a broader discussion about property disputes in the legal system.
Absolutely. This is not an advertisement. This is about, encouraging people to do their own research and think critically about these issues.
Exactly. And speaking of research, he does mention that he's doing a presentation on February 5th.
Oh, okay.
And he has a website where you can find more information.
So if this has piqued your interest, you can definitely delve deeper.
Absolutely.
Check out his website. Maybe try to attend that presentation.
Yeah.
See if you can get a better feel for his approach and whether it might be a good fit for your specific needs.
Totally. So, okay, let's recap what we've talked about today. We've explored this big problem, these super lengthy property disputes that can drag on for years and years.
Yeah, and years.
And we've looked at Advocate Nikhil's proposed solution, which seems to be all about speed and efficiency. Finding ways to move cases through the legal system faster or resolve them outside of court altogether.
Right, and the big question that remains is, can he really deliver on those promises?
Right, because those are some bold claims. And while we can't verify them based on this flyer alone, they definitely raise some interesting questions.
For sure.
Like, if his approach is actually as effective as he claims, what does that mean for the legal system as a whole? Could this be a model for resolving other types of legal disputes more efficiently?
That's a big question, isn't it? Like, could this be a step towards a more efficient and maybe less stressful justice system for everyone? It's something worth thinking about.
It really is. And on that note, we encourage you to continue researching this topic.
Yeah.
Ask questions, form your own opinions, because this deep dive was just the start of your journey.
Exactly. Keep digging, keep exploring.
And who knows, maybe you'll find some answers, or even better, maybe you'll find even more questions.
That's how it always goes.
It really is. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See ya.